Welcome to the closing act. I'm Christine Blanchette. Over the past year, we had the pleasure of talking with several very interesting and entertaining guests, promoters, and supporters in the music industry. So we've decided to put together a quick overview of just a few of those interviews, along with part 2 of our coverage of the BC Country Music Awards. The 43rd Annual BC Country Music Awards at the Hard Rock Casino in Coquitlam. I am excited to be interviewing some of the nominees and performances tonight, so stay tuned. Becca, so thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
And just wanted to tell you, so you're producing the show, right?
I am. Yes.
So how much work is involved?
Well, I mean, it's not a picnic, but it's what I've done for a living for the last decade. I produce the Rock and River Music Fest, and I produce other shows across Western Canada. So it's an award show is a lot different because there's so many moving parts to it and different elements than a regular live show. But I enjoy the challenge, and I'm happy to be here.
So also, too, I want to congratulate you on the numerous nominations.
Thank you.
So you have a song out right now. It's, well, actually I should go back, Female Artist of the Year and Interactive Artist of the Year and Traditional Roots. What's Traditional Roots Artist?
So I'm up for Female Artist of the Year, I'm up for Traditional Artist of the Year, I'm up for Single of the Year for my song I Don't Do Love Songs, and I'm also up for the Industry Supporter for my work as a producer.
Yeah, so tell us about your latest album.
So this is my sophomore record. It's called Truth. I recorded it right here in BC with CCME award-winning producers Tom McKillop and Carly Savard, the father-daughter duo, which is always an interesting dynamic because my dad and I have always done shows together, and we've always recorded together and written together. And he's also performing tonight. So it was really nice to get into the studio and do some of the songs that we had written together, including the single I Don't Do Love Songs that's nominated tonight.
That's wonderful. And how does it make you feel to be here tonight with everything's coming together so far so well?
It's good. I've had more coffee than water for about a week straight, but it's always a wonderful thing to really see the show come together because we work on it for months, before the event happens. So once I see the red carpet come out and everybody's here to do interviews and the lights are all on, it's just wonderful to see the show come together.
And if people want to listen to your music, where can they go, Becca?
They can go anywhere. I'm on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, anywhere you find music online, and then of course videos and radio, the old classics. I'm on all of that, so it's just beccahess.com or at Becca Hess Music.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me.
Aaron, thanks for being on the show. Congratulations on 7 nominations.
Is it 7? I thought it was 6, but I'll take 7, sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so you're also performing tonight.
Yeah.
And do you know what song you're singing?
Yeah, I have 2 songs actually tonight. The new song that just came out about a month ago, called Good Thing, and my #1 hit that I've had this year, called Better When I Do.
So what is the process for you for writing this song?
Well, I didn't write those songs. Those weren't songs I had been writing these past few, actually the last 5 or 6 singles. They're all from Nashville written songs. So, but the process was when I wrote a lot, I did write a lot of the bigger hits that I had back in the early 2000s, mid-2000s. The process is, it can be different every time, especially depending on who you're writing with. You don't necessarily write on your own all the time, especially in Nashville. You got to write with the best writers down there. So typically the process is you come to an agreement on what title you want to write, record name you call it. And you take that headline, you put a melody to it, you play guitar to it, basically 2 hours, 2.5 hours later, you have something ready for the song. No, you know what? I missed the last 2 years. Yeah, I had other events that I was already announced. I was already doing other things. So, it's the first time in several years that I've been here. it's great. The BCCMAs is very important to me. Always has been. It's been a part of my career, my entire career for 25 almost 30 years. So, for me to be up here and still being nominated for awards is a huge deal. But I think it's very important to show off and showcase the new talent that's out there, as well as giving accolades to the successes that British Columbia country artists have had in Canada. So this is it's very important. I'll never not be able to. Oh man, I just got back from Saskatoon, as I told you. There's several things that I'm doing over the next little while. Heading up to the East Coast next weekend for charity hockey games that I'm part of with ex-NHL alumni guys. And then in December, George Cannon and I go on a Christmas tour in the East Coast. So I come back from the East Coast, go back to the East Coast. We do Newfoundland, PEI, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. 12 shows in, I think, 16 days or something like that. So it should be fun. Yeah.
Thank you. Congratulations.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Patrick, thanks very much for coming on the show, and tell us about your role with the BC Country Music Association.
Well, I came on board this year, a brand new director, so I'm the director of sponsorship and artist relations. So it's been really exciting as an artist to get to work with artists and then help bring in some of the sponsorship and stuff. So I brought in CTV and a couple other things. So yeah,
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So there's more for next year that you'll be doing.
yeah. Well, the sky's the limit, I guess. Right? We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Patrick, let's talk about your music and tell us about your new album that's coming up.
Yeah, I released a single. My first single off the record was A Little Bit of Saturday. Did really well. And then we're just about to release Let's Ride, and that will come out with a self-titled album. It'll be my fourth album in early New Year. So I'm excited about it.
That's wonderful. And let's talk about You're Not Alone.
Yeah, we did. When I heard of when the Boston Marathon bombing happened, I had written a song with actually Sue Breton. She's also a member of the association. We wrote it quite a few years ago, and it just seemed appropriate. So my partner and I at the time threw that video together and got it out and just shared it in remembrance of all the people that lost their lives. So yeah.
Congratulations and all the best in your music career and your new role here. And are you excited to be here?
I am. Yeah. And thank you to Novus for coming out and covering this for us. We really appreciate it. So. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Patrick. Congratulations, Jeff, for being nominated for Producer of the Year.
Thank you very much.
So this is your fourth time, is this right?
Yes, this will actually be my fifth time for being nominated. So excited. It's always an excitement and a treat to be at the BC Country Music Awards, and just nice to see all our, friends and family and everyone back in one room and celebrating the best of BC. Yeah.
And where do you keep your awards?
I've got a little spot in my studio that's kind of tucked away in a little spot that's, I don't try to boast them too much. It's definitely an honor to have them, but it's not the only reason why we're here. It's really just to further the community and get the best songs and just show what BC can bring to an international marketplace. And I really feel like BC has some of the best musicians in country right now. So proud of our community here.
And Jeff, what's next for you?
Well, we've got a new single that we're doing with Kadu. It's called Wiser Than Me, which we're really excited about. We did some collaboration and we did all the recording in British Columbia here, so we're excited to roll that out. And the new video is debuted now, so if you want to check it out, Wiser Than Me, it's out there now. And I also have a release from the band Dakota Pearl. They just released their album, Nothing to Lose. So that's available on all streaming and multimedia, wherever you get your music. So you can check those out. And a few other artists that are just pending releases, but we're kind of waiting until they have a release date for that stuff. But lots of things in the works.
How exciting, Jeff.
Yes, very exciting. Yeah, thanks.
And congratulations again.
Oh, thank you so much for having us. Yeah.
For over 50 years, Russell Earl Marsland has shared the stage with entertainers like James Brown, Bobby Brooks Wilson, and of course his talented wife Raven Blackwell. Still rocking rooms throughout BC, he also performs a full tribute show to the great Stevie Ray Vaughan. The closing act was very happy to speak with Russell and talk about his musical journey.
So you would say like it was easier maybe to break in to the music back then?
Well, there was more places to play. You had to be good. You couldn't fake it. Good players got lots of work. And it was also the time period. You got to think about the 60s and 70s. Music was everything. Woodstock was here, and as kids watching the Ed Sullivan Show, seeing the Beatles and all that, music was cool. and it really, really took off. 60s and 70s, and even when disco hit, everybody said, well, disco is going to be the downfall of live music. Well, it wasn't, because Earth, Wind and Fire happened, all these great bands. It was still music, and people loved it. And we all went to clubs, and we all hung out at bars, and it was
Like
a
the
social.
Cave? Was the Cave?
Yeah, well, besides the Cave was more of the live plus dinner dance kind of thing. That was a style that happened in Vancouver that was really cool. You'd dress up in a suit, and the women would dress up in these beautiful gowns, and you'd go get a fantastic meal, and you'd listen to,
Tina Turner.
Stevie Wonder, and it was a big deal. Music was more important. You think about in the 50s and 60s, everybody had a piano in their house. Because
Piano in the house.
everybody had a piano in their house. Everybody, because you wanted to make music. We had theme parties at my folks' place. People would come over and listen to jazz music and Dixieland music, and everything was very cool. But things change. People don't seem to want to go out so much anymore. Maybe it's financial. Maybe it's they're worried about violence. But things have changed to a degree. And I think this is where we need music more than before, really, because music calms people down. Music is what keeps us grounded.
It heals.
It's part of our culture, and I think culture is super important. We can't just throw it away like it's not valuable, because it's very valuable. And I think we're kind of missing the boat in some ways. I don't want to paint it as a big negative thing, because it's not. It's just different. And in a long-winded way of answering your question, it is really hard for a musician. If you're just playing music, those bars don't happen anymore. I just found out a couple of days ago that the Yale, the home of the blues, where Johnny Winter used to play and all these great musicians, now there's nothing. People go to sports bar. Where is the culture going?
The times, baby, they're changing. Have mercy. It's time for us to reach out for something new. This means you and me too. You said you want your freedom, but you can't make up your mind, baby. Come with me, baby. Let me take you to the purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain.
Chico Toma has spent his whole life entertaining audiences around the world, touring with the late, great Marvin Gaye, and as a member of the Commodores, Chico is no stranger to the art of entertainment. He now performs as a solo act throughout North America and is the musical director of the Vancouver Sweet Soul Gospel Choir.
So tell us, did you grow up with a musical instrument, or how?
Well, it's funny because I love sports too. So I was torn between playing basketball and football, and then I was playing in the band. I was a drummer in the marching bands, and then from there I taken piano lessons, and then I went to there's a gentleman, I love him, his name was Louis Johnson, and he was a bass, so I took up bass after that. So I got piano, keyboards, percussion, bass.
There's so many instruments.
Yeah.
And plus you sing backup vocals,
Yes,
right?
sing backup, and occasionally, but mostly I'm a backup vocalist, but I do occasional leads, but too as well.
So tell us about the choir. How did that really come
It
about?
started from a little church. I was just at a little church, and people wanted to come together with harmony, and didn't have anyone up here doing in Vancouver doing authentic soul gospel music. So then, with me, I love gospel music, so I've sung with gospel singers before, and then going to New Orleans in my auntie church in New Orleans, and I just love that real upbeat soul gospel music, because it's lively and everything like that.
Well, I've watched you perform, and you certainly are energetic.
Thank you.
You go from the percussion to the keyboards and the backup vocals.
Yes.
But you are inspirational for many, and soul music is so good for your soul.
Yes, it is.
We should have more
That's
music
right.
in our lives.
That's right. We do. We need. Unfortunately, we don't have a radio station here in Vancouver for outlets. So with me, I have a satellite radio coming from the States, so I can stay nurtured with the new soul music, soul gospel, R&B, and everything like that.
Yeah, so you are a role model, and
Oh, well, I'm trying to, make a platform for the younger generations for soul.
Blake Havard is another of BC's musical gems. He has been contributing to the music scene in Canada for a number of years and shares his past and present plans with us.
Well, I remember when my parents bought their first Radio Shack stereo, and they bought a whole bunch of records, and we had the K-Tel flipper. They put the records in. They go, that's a long time ago. There's young people probably wondering what I'm talking about right now. But they bought a whole bunch of records, all different styles. So it's sort of like, as soon as that happened, it was sort of the big, huge headphones and stuff like that. They sort of inspired me by having all this different types of music, and just that was one of the things that did it.
yes, and so, did you come from a family of musicians?
Well, my granddad, I remember going to Saskatoon way back when, and my granddad could play the fiddle, keyboards, I can't remember what else he played, but I remember being in the dining room, and he had this old Vox Continental organ, and he was playing it through an old blackface. Guitar players will know what I'm talking about. It was an old 1966 blackface super reverb, and he was cranking boogie woogie on that, and it was just the room would shake. And I was just a kid then, so it sort of like that kind of blew my mind. I thought, ooh, that was powerful. So that sort of inspired me. And my mom liked to sing. My dad liked to dance. And I had an older brother that sort of paved the way a little bit for me because he had bands. So when I grew up, my older brother had bands. He had all the gear in the basement. And we all probably have brain damage from the sound, the concrete. They would practice in a concrete basement, and it would come up through the floors. And I think, our neighbors were probably really glad when we moved from that neighborhood. A friend of mine saw a guy named Pete Droge, who was a singer-songwriter kind of based out of Seattle. And he was opening for Amy Mann at the Commodore, and my buddy saw him and said, Blake, you gotta check this guy out. He's like you. So I kind of heard of Pete Droge. He had that song from Dumb and Dumber, If You Don't Love Me, I'm Gonna Kill Myself. And he did a song with Dave Stewart from the Rhythmics called Beautiful Girl, another movie. And he's excellent singer-songwriter. And I contacted him, and I went down there and saw him play, and then we ended up doing 4 tunes together. So we recorded it down on Vashon Island, and so we recorded the song there, and then I took it, did a few more little overdubs up here, and then Mike Fraser, who did like AC/DC and Zach Brown Band, he mixed it, and then I put it out there and pushed it. I was pretty proud of how it turned out.
I thought I needed you. And I kept lying to myself, thinking we could have carried on. And I hate myself having to give up now, but the fact is we don't belong.
I hope you enjoyed our year in review. I would like to thank all of the entertainers and supporters of music that have shared their talent and stories with us. I would also like to send a special thank you to all the people that have contributed their time and talent to bring the show to you every month. Here's to a musical and entertaining 2020. And I want to thank you too. Happy New Year.